It is the most beautiful day. It is Easter Friday. The sun is shining. Actually, it's a little bit hazy over the coast, but just to give it away, I'm near the coast. So today I've got I think it's like 12-13 mile route. I'm parked above Kimmeridge, and I'm basically just gonna stick inland, and then I'm gonna drop down onto the coast. I'm gonna get some undulating miles in there, all the way to almost parallel with Tyneham, the abandoned village, and we'll get more on that later. And then we're going to climb back up and go down to Tyneham, and then we'll cut back to the coast. So we've got kind of like a figure of 8 sort of thing that I'm kind of making up as I go along. So I mean, the sun is shining, and this weekend I've got my 2 group walks going on. So we're running one tomorrow, 13-mile loop near Chapman's Pool, and Sunday we've got a Portland circuit. So I thought I'd just come down a little bit early, knew the traffic would be nuts, so here we are. I just need to find the path. I think this is us heading up Smedmore Hill. So there's so many walks in this area that I just desperately want to show you, and as soon as the sun comes out it's like, right, go, because we only live about an hour and a half away, really, depends on the traffic. But you can see behind me, you know, this amazing range of hills. So we're right near the Purbeck Hills. It's such a beautiful area, just the rolling hills, but don't be fooled, because at certain times of the week you'll be hearing military fire. A lot of this area gets closed off because it's MOD range, and all the way here I've been driving past the flags and sort of the signs saying, you know, this stretch is open, this stretch isn't, and warning, take care of sudden gunfire. So it's very exciting.
As you can probably hear, it was quite windy up on the ridge, but a great walk nonetheless, with vast views either side as I climbed higher with every step.
Oh look, there's Corfe Castle! Oh, what a cool surprise! So Corfe Castle is just over there, you can just see it. Wow! Oh, it is just the most incredible day today. I'm so glad to be here. So we're actually within the Jurassic Coast UNESCO World Heritage Site, 95 miles of incredible coastline that captures 185 million years of geological history. If you check out the cliffs along this whole stretch, you'll see all different colours, all different patterns, all different stratas and collections of geological time, and it is just a truly mind-blowing place, because as the geology changes, the landscape on the land changes. So we can see the differences, and here we're predominantly walking on Kimmeridge slate or shales, and it's interesting actually because that shale and the slates were used during the Roman times to distill the seawater in order to collect salt, and then there was a period of oil collection around here as well. And obviously we've already mentioned, but nowadays this whole area is used by the military. But still, I just want to come back to Corfe Castle. That is a cool sight today. Oh, I'm so stoked to be alive. Little diversion, just got to come and share this beautiful blossom with you. Ah, oh, now that is the stuff of a good life. Blackthorn blossom, wow, look, it's going away, man. It literally blooms for about 2 weeks of the year, and then that is it. So you've got to appreciate it whilst it lasts. Keep your eyes open for the little things. Boom! Here we are then, top of Swyre Head, 203 metres above sea level. Epic views over Kimmeridge Bay down there, Purbeck Hills in front of me. Oh, it's pretty spectacular today. So, next plan then, we're going to go down there towards Roe Lake Head, I believe it's called. Pick up the southwest coastal path, walk around to Kimmeridge Bay, and then we'll just keep pressing on from there. Love it up here, just love it. Here we are then. Permissive footpath to Rope Lake Head and coastal path. Sounds good to me. Over the stile. Can't just walk past all this vibrant gorse here, catching the rays of the sunlight. Pretty spiky, but the flowers are just mesmerizing in their vibrance. So here we have it. I'm stood on this wonky stile because I want to be able to show you this. Check it out. We are on the southwest coastal path now. So either side of me, both to the west and to the east, we have accumulatively 630 miles of mind-blowingly, incredibly diverse long-distance trail that is just beckoning to be explored. But alas, not today. What we're going to be doing is heading west along the coastal path onto Kimmeridge Bay, Brandy Bay and then Worbarrow Bay, and we'll climb up the rather deadly steep hill to Flowers Barrow, which is the old site of an Iron Age hill fort, and from there we'll head inland and down to Tyneham, and I'll explain the rest of the route there. But as you can see behind me, we've got these fantastic cliffs here which are displaying the strata that I mentioned earlier. So basically the layers of sediment that have been placed down over millions and millions of years, and it's just right there, visible for us to look at. It's incredible. And we're also looking over towards Chapman's Pool, and then a little bit further around is St Aldham's Head, and there is a really wonderful descent and ascent over there, some big steps, and it's pretty intimidating, but it's great fun at the same time. And oh, I just feel so humbled to be here today, to see the waves, to see the birds enjoying the tide as it's out, trying to find a feast on the shore, the sailing boat over there, and the endless horizon. Oh, if this is not a sense of freedom, I don't know where else you can find it. It's so stimulating being up here on the cliffs, not only with the waves and the seabirds and the views over towards Dudwardore and Lulworth Cove that direction, but actually if you look out to sea right now, there's that sailing boat which is of a traditional design, so how they would have been in the 17 and 1800s. It's got the double sails there and I just love letting my imagination run wild. Can you picture what it would have been like up here to see the merchant boats going up and down with their sails moving in the wind, and the men on board running, pulling ropes and looking out towards that horizon, perhaps even watching out for pirates. Oh, it's just fantastic. Whoa, don't get too close to the edge. Look at that. What I just love about walking on the coastal path is it's so three-dimensional. You've obviously got the vast open horizons above, then in front of you the undulating land, then to your side you've always got the cliffs dropping down the depths of the sea. You've got the sound of the waves constantly working their way against the shore, lapping in, eroding, so dynamic. You have the birds singing, you've generally got some kind of breeze blowing in your ears. It's such a breathing space because it's so stimulating. It absorbs all of your senses, the smells of that salty sea air. There's just so much to take in. You really have to slow that pace and absorb it.
The path undulated whilst hugging the tops of the cliffs, dropping down to greet small streams, then climbing back up to walk parallel with fields alive with the songs of skylarks.
Just got this old pillbox here, lookout spot over towards the sea. Poignant reminder of times since gone, and also of how fortunate we are to live freely. Alright, we're making slow progress today because I'm just absorbed in everything. But we are finally overlooking Kimmeridge Bay, and we've got here Clavel Tower. It's a Tuscan style tower that was built in 1830, and it really stands out actually against the vibrant yellow there of the rapeseed fields. The tower was originally built as an observatory and a folly, but they later became a Coast Guard lookout before falling out of use during the First World War. Endangered by cliff erosion, it was dismantled and rebuilt further back from the cliff's edge in 2005 to 2008. Wow, look at that. Piece by piece. Wow, what a job.
Just in front of the tower were the cemented remains of a gunning station, one of many along the stretch of coastline, likely to have been used during the Second World War.
Oh, here we go. Kimmeridge. This way. Even though there's loads of people down on the beach, thought we might go and have a look, do just a little bit of rock falling and see what we can find. Okay, let's find some rocks and see what might be lurking amongst them. I have to take my shoes and socks off because it's slippy. Check it out. This is the remains of an ammonite just lying within this giant slab of rock.
Little did I know that Kimmeridge is famed for its fossils and is famous for the Etches collection, a museum full of fossils collected by Steve Etches, a local fossil collector born in 1949. I just love being able to get down on my hands and knees and explore this prehistoric world, animals that would have lived both near the surface and buried underneath the sand, right there before my eyes.
Okay. Let's see what we can see. Nice periwinkles.
When out rock pooling, it's important to move slowly so that you can spot any movement beneath the surface, and to be respectful of the marine wildlife and their habitats, always putting rock backs just as you found them.
Come on, crabs, where are you? Gotta admit, I love the patterns on the stones here. Look. How cool is that? Oh, there's one, there's one, there's one. Oh. Got him. Got him. Look. Little shore crab. Sorry, mate. Oh, look.
The shore crab is the most common crab found on the UK coast. They feast on anything they can find, from seaweed, mussels and barnacles to sometimes even smaller crabs.
Okay, let's let him go. There you go, matey. Go on then. You're free. Well, that was definitely worth the quick detour. Ammonites and a crab, history and present, all very exciting. Anyway, back on the coast path now. We've still got a fair old way to walk, so let's get moving. Whoa, I've literally no idea what this is. It looks like one of those nodding donkey things used to get oil out of the ground.
I was surprised to learn that it actually is a nodding donkey getting oil out of the ground. This was the Kimmeridge oil field, and it's been pumping oil since the early 1960s, making it one of the oldest oil pumps in the UK.
Alright, here we go, entering the Lulworth Ranges. Thankfully, they're open today to enjoy the walks, but look out. Military firing range, danger, do not touch any military debris, it may explode and kill you. Let's not be light about this. Okay, so heading in. Lots of excitement.
The ranges were established in 1917 and cover a total of 7,000 acres. They are used for both static and mobile live firing by tanks and other armed vehicles throughout the year, so if you see a red flag flying, you don't want to go near it.
So important to keep looking back. Check out that view all the way around to Kimmeridge and beyond. See St Aldham's Head as well. It's cleared up actually this afternoon. We're still very much in the military zone. Plenty of signs reminding us that that is the case. But just down there then, that is Tyneham, the remains of the abandoned village. Well, the remains, it pretty much stands as it did when it was left behind by its 225 inhabitants. But we'll have a chat about that when we get down to there. So just ahead of me, we can see Worbarrow Bay, which we're working towards, and the big old climb up to the top in the Hillfort. So then what we'll do, once we're at the top, walk along the ridge and then drop down into Tyneham, then from Tyneham climb back up to the coastal path, retrace our steps for a little bit before we head inland for the final stretch back to Kimmeridge. So that's the plan for today. Nice sort of figure of 8. Really not sure on the mileage, so I'll pop that in the description below so you guys can suss it out and whether this is a walk that you would like to do. I would certainly encourage it because it just has so much to offer, especially at this time of year as the flowers are coming out, the skylarks are singing, the bees are bumbling, and life is just generally rather nice on the southwest coastal path. So this outcrop here, this is Worbarrow Tout. So it's just been eroded away all around, obviously with how the tide has eroded the bay and left this outcrop. Just over there you can see the haze as well of Portland, the Isle of Portland, and then all around here we've got these fantastic chalky cliffs now lying in front of us.
The cliffs around Worbarrow once again revealed layers of strata and complex sedimentary folding caused by tectonic plate pressures as the African and European continents collided some 30 million years ago. Apparently, the rocks visible here are dated to around 150 million years ago. After a quick nosy around the bay, I headed on along the coastal path.
So I'm quite keen to get to the top of this climb, not so that then it's done, but because obviously there's the Hillfort at the top, Flowers Barrow Hillfort. Now not a lot is really being uncovered by excavations because there haven't been many excavations, simply due to coastal erosion and the likelihood of there being unexploded military debris up there. So kind of makes sense that the archaeologists will say, yeah, we'll leave that one. But they found, what they have found in 1 or 2 little excavations is some Iron Age pottery, some bones and some sling stones as well. So definite evidence of trade and obviously of occupation there as well.
The climb was steep and slow, but certainly one to be savoured, with fantastic views behind.
So nearly there. I tried to zigzag my way up, break it down a little bit. All I'm dreaming of is a really big glass of icy water. It is so hot. Glorious, but hot. Oh, wow. Simply wow. Oh, and here's the Hillfort. Nice.
It's said that over half of the Hillfort has already been lost to coastal erosion, although as a positive, it has exposed a number of hut circles in the interior of the fort. The ramparts are clearly visible today, although obviously not in great condition, and, of course, there were never any ramparts needed at the southern end, as the cliffs acted as a defence.
So we're on top of the ridge. We've got some nice steady walking ahead of us. Thankfully that ginormous climb is behind us, although it's all good stuff. Gotta appreciate the fact that my body can carry me up there. Just so thankful for that. And we'll follow this ridge till we hit a little lane near Whiteways car park, and then we'll drop down into Tyneham and have a little nose around that area. But to my left here, so to the north, I mean, just look at this vast expanse of flatness stretching out as far as the eye can see. It's just such a contrast to the terrain we've been traversing. A lot of that is military land, some of it's quarries, and there's a big manor house castle down there as well.
The path was lined with flowers of every sprightly colour, from gorse, bluebells and cowslips to violets, buttercups and more. It made for a cheery walk along the ridge before I began the descent down into Tyneham.
So Tyneham then, we've been talking about it all day, and I think it's about time I let you know a little bit about it. So basically in 1943 the village was taken over by the War Office. This whole area was taken over for military training for the Second World War, but the residents believed they would be able to go back. In fact, one person even left a note on their door saying, "This is our home, please respect it, we've lived here for generations and we love it." So they thought that they would be going back. However, in 1948, despite the war being over, the compulsory purchasing order was put in place for Tyneham to officially be owned by the MOD, the Ministry of Defence, and the residents were never to return. So we head down to the village, and it's pretty much stuck in time. It's as it was when the residents left all those years ago. And now it's owned by the National Trust, I believe. It's open to the public throughout the year. You can visit and check out the photographs and the atmosphere of the place back through time.
The exhibitions are still owned by the MOD, but are free for the public to visit during most weekends and public holidays. It's an amazing place to explore. The small 13th century St Mary's Church has recently been restored and now contains an exhibition on village life. There's also a school dating back to 1856, which originally could have been used by up to 60 children at a time. There's also the rectory cottages, which visitors are free to wander around, and a little closer to the main car park, an old telephone kiosk, much like the first one to arrive in the village in 1929. Tyneham Farm has also been restored to show how it would have operated in the 1940s, with stables, old carts and hand tools, and much more on display. There's even an old grain store sat within the main courtyard. As I left the village, my attention was drawn to a long wall of military debris, all claimed to have been found within the area. It was a striking sight, one that shocked me as much as it did intrigue.
Right, so that was Tyneham. A lot of people there, so it's quite nice to be moving on. And all we're doing is a steady climb back up to the coastal path. We'll retrace our steps and then we'll turn inland, heading on towards the car park above Kimmeridge. So there's probably about 3 miles left maybe. I just had a look at my phone and so far we've covered 12. So it's probably around 15 miles in total this walk. So it's a good day for that.
It wasn't long before I was once again on the coastal path, retracing my steps towards a split in the trail.
So the southwest coastal path that we came up goes down there. So if I wanted to go back down to Kimmeridge Bay, I'd head up there. But this time we're going off to the left. So this will take us towards Kimmeridge Village and the car park. So we're headed up to the top of Tyneham Cap. Last little climb and then we'll be at the summit. Wow, look at that. So you can see all the way that we've walked today, all the way around Kimmeridge Bay, all the way around to Chapman's Pool, and then we walked along that ridge and the car is just over there towards Kimmeridge. Whew, that is spectacular. It's so peaceful up here. I don't know whether it's because everyone's gone home because it's like nearly 4 o'clock, but it's just absolutely heavenly. There's hardly a sound really. Considering we're on a ridge, you'd think all the sand would travel up here, but it's not. So I'm just like really slowing my pace, just taking my time, enjoying this, the amazing views either side of me. I couldn't be happier right now. To be honest guys, that's pretty much it. We're almost back at the car park, and the end of the walk for today. It's been a truly wonderful journey, and I'm so grateful that I could share it with you. We've seen so much history and archaeology. The geology has been spectacular, and of course the wildlife as well, the flora and the fauna. If you're willing just to drop down onto your hands and knees or have a splash about in a rock pool, who knows what you'll find. So guys, I hope you've been inspired to head out for your very own adventures. Let us know how you get on in the comments below, and until next time, enjoy those adventures and stay wild.